welcome back YouTubers to my WWE vlog. I am Daniel Parkin and I'm going to give my review of Raw this week, this Monday even. Now this week's Raw was a pretty weird Raw, but I'll go through it in as much detail as I possibly can in the 15 minutes that I've got available to me. So, first off we had the Rock skit which happened on the Titantron. I bring it via satellite, does that ring any bells to anyone? Basically it's just the Rock dissing a little kid dressed up as Cena. And to me this was pretty lame. As much as I have respect for The Rock, this was pretty fucking lame. And the whole intention was to mock John Cena and what he stands for and stuff like that, and they have Fruity Pebbles in there and they managed to get all the little kiddie jokes there. And then, which one thing that I was quite glad about, he turned his attention to The Miz. Which I think is good, because I think The Rock needs to finally start taking his attention off, or not off John Cena, but start putting more attention on our WWE champion, The Miz. It's going to get him a bit more, it's going to get him put over a little bit more, which is good. I think that's what WWE needs at the moment. So yeah, in my opinion, the skit was very lame, and it was via satellite as well, so Rock wasn't live, so, pretty lame overall in my opinion. And then we have The Miz come out, and then we see Michael Cole in a protective glass pod. And I was just laughing my ass off at this. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. He looked like a little rat inside a rat cage with a spinny wheel in there or something. He had all his announcers equipment in there. This whole thing was to protect him from Jerry Lawler, even though he has like a restraining order thing on him. What's the point of that? Miz comes out and makes fun of The Rock, which is I was glad to see this segment because it's a signal of intent from our WWE champion. This is the kind of thing the Miz needs to do to get himself a bit more, well, not credibility, but to make himself look a little bit tougher, to make him look like he's not going to back down from a challenge, and that's what our WWE champion really needs to do. He says how he's got the better of Cena for the last 3 weeks in a row, and The Rock hasn't done that yet, only over the mic. We then get a GM email. Michael Cole comes out to read the email from his protective pod, but Jerry Lawler gets to the email first and reads it instead. Basically, the GM said there's going to be 2 first-time ever matches for The Miz and John Cena. It's going to be Cena versus Alberto Del Rio, and The Miz versus Great Khali, which is going to happen next. I don't know why they did Miz versus Great Khali. I suppose it is a first-time match, but I just didn't see the logic in it, really. The match, we then had the match. The match was short. Khali pretty much dominated it. He got the vice grip in, and then Alex Riley comes out from nowhere to interfere. I thought their little gay relationship had finished now between Alex Riley and The Miz. But yeah, he comes out and attacks Great Khali, allowing The Miz to get a chair and repeatedly hit Great Khali to the point where he was actually bleeding from a chair shot. He then does a DDT on the chair. So, signs of dominance from the WWE champion again, even though he needs the help of Alex Riley, of course. The match was too short in my opinion, but then again it was always going to be short. It was always going to be about The Miz asserting his dominance on someone bigger than him. We then get this thing with Michael Cole from the pod again. I just can't stop laughing at that, seeing Michael Cole in a glass pod. He says he's going to bring up someone from Lawler's past who will expose the true Jerry Lawler. So that was going to be for later in the night. We then see Triple H's vignette thing from SmackDown, which basically shows him entering the ring, doing his in-ring celebration thing, and then hitting people with foreign objects. We then get a backstage segment with Snooki talking to John Morrison. Basically, she slaps Vicky Guerrero. That's pretty much all that happens there. And we all know she's the guest host of Raw, but she didn't really do much. She didn't really do anything to note, apart from later on in the night, of course, which I'll go on to later. We then had a really good match in my opinion, which was Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus for the US title. Obviously Sheamus would have quit WWE if he lost. My first thoughts of this match was that Sheamus was going to lose and go to SmackDown, but as it was, that didn't happen. This match had a really good finish to it, had plenty of kickouts in it, it was back and forth. It was actually quite a good match in my opinion. On paper I thought this was a really good match as well. That finish happened when Sheamus axe kicked Daniel Bryan, or did his axe kick finisher thing, as Daniel Bryan jumped off the top rope. So yeah, maybe, personally, I'm glad they've taken the title off Daniel Bryan. He wasn't really going anywhere with it. They were involving him in stupid storylines. Maybe if they give it to Sheamus now, it's actually, going to put him in the right direction rather than jobbing. Hopefully he'll be able to get back on that main event scene soon, which I think is where he should be. especially for new talent that WWE need to really push for the future. We then had the Michael Cole segment. In this, basically, he brought out Grandmaster Sexay, whose actual name is Bryan Christopher, I think. Basically, he makes it pretty damn personal, which is only going to fuel this rivalry a lot more, and I'm really looking forward to this match at WrestleMania now. Bryan Christopher comes out and says that he was ashamed of his dad, that how does it feel that, that he got a WrestleMania match before Jerry the King Lawler. It all went pretty damn personal. And he was out of breath the whole segment because he's so damn old now. JR then comes out, which was good to see. JR comes out and says that Cole has gone too far and that the voices of the WWE are the fans, which is completely true. It's not Michael Cole, he's a dash. JR and Cole have this little stare down, they go to fight, and all of a sudden Jack Swagger comes in and attacks Jerry Lawler, and then comes in and attacks JR. He then puts the ankle lock on Jerry the King Lawler, and Michael Cole puts the ankle lock on JR. This rivalry could not be any bigger if WWE had tried. This was a really good segment. The segment itself wasn't good to see or hear, but it's done really well to fuel this rivalry again, and it's making this, and the fueling of the rivalry is the only thing this match really has, because there's not really much wrestling involved. So it's good to see this rivalry getting really, really, really heated now. And of course, Cole has ankle locked JR, so that's going to be his finishing move type thing at WrestleMania if he uses it. We then have Randy Orton versus Mason Ryan. Now, this wasn't a bad match really. Mason Ryan does seem like a half decent wrestler, but Orton does his usual RKO out of nowhere and manages to win the match. And then he does his usual, I'm going to punt and put you back in FCW on Mason Ryan. And it's going to be Orton versus Punk in a singles match at WrestleMania. So yeah, that's pretty much settled now. Mason Ryan is back in FCW. That's pretty much all I've got to say about that match really. It's happened for the last 3 weeks now. It's getting a little bit old, so what more can I say? We then get Drew Carey introduced into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm a bit stumped about this. I'm probably going to make a separate video about this, so keep a lookout for that, because that is just, he had one moment in WWE in the Royal Rumble which wasn't even that good. Why are they doing this? Why are WWE doing this? After about a 1 minute Michael Cole heel segment and Zack Ryder meeting Snooki, which was good to see Zack Ryder again, we haven't seen him in a while on Raw. We get Vicky Guerrero versus Trish Stratus. If Vicky Guerrero lost, she would lose her job. Now, she makes her typical "excuse me" promo, and then brings out this thing with the Rolling Stone cover which featured Snooki, and she brought out a version of her own version of Rolling Stone. And it was so funny because Vicky Guerrero just looked so out of place on the front of Rolling Stone magazine. It was just hilarious. The match itself was a complete joke. Trish spanked Vicky with a shoe. I'd like to say it was sexy, but it really wasn't because Vicky was there. And then we had the inevitable. Dolph Ziggler came in and broke up the match. Then Morrison comes in and gets rid of Dolph. Does this really nice move to the outside, really. It was good to see. And then Micheal comes in to help Vicky pin Trish Stratus. So she now has a job on Raw. Oh no, Vicky is now on Raw. Oh god, I can't. That's probably worse than Drew Carey in the Hall of Fame. No, it's not. And then we get a WrestleMania match, or a challenge. We get John Morrison and Trish Stratus and Snooki. Yes, that's right. And Snooki from Jersey Shore versus Dolph Ziggler and Micheal at WrestleMania. I'm going to also do a separate video on this because I have some very, very distinct opinions on this. So also look out for that as well. This isn't a very good match for Dolph Ziggler or John Morrison at all at WrestleMania. A couple of things about this match. Firstly, should there have been a disqualification? There was so many interferences in this match. Why are they getting Snooki to wrestle a match at WrestleMania? I don't understand. As much as this was quite good for setting up a little match at WrestleMania, it just makes no sense. The match itself makes no sense. I don't know why they're doing it. We also had another Shawn Michaels vignette for the Taker Triple H match. I can't really remember what he said. He's done it. This has happened so many times now. He's basically saying about the Undertaker, him having the streak and all that kind of stuff. It was, we've seen it a couple of times, that kind of thing a couple of times now. So then, I'm nearly out of breath like Grandmaster Sexay was on his way to the ring. We then get our main event, which is John Cena, of course, versus Alberto Del Rio. Now, on paper, this is a good match. First thing we get is the inside knowledge from Michael Cole that The Rock is here tonight. And you'll find out why this is important after the match. The match itself is okay. That is until Brodus Clay interfered and started beating on John Cena. We then hear The Rock's music come out, and we see a guy there that looks just like The Rock. Until we realise that it's The Miz dressed up as The Rock. So he managed to fool pretty much everyone, and Michael Cole's laughing his ass off, of course. He comes in and rock bottoms John Cena. The ultimate insult to The Rock and John Cena, of course. He gets on the mic, he carries on attacking him, he gets on the mic and says that he's now owned him for the last 4 weeks and he'll own him at WrestleMania. This rivalry has now gotten pretty big in my opinion, and I'm glad, because it's going to be one of the main events of WrestleMania. It's about time they put the focus on Miz and John Cena, and they're doing a damn good job of it now. I'm also interested to see what The Rock is going to do about Miz, because now he's got Cena and Miz to contend with. What's going to happen? The Miz dressed as The Rock, of course, takes John Cena up the ramp, skull-crushing finales him on the WWE sign, and basically attacks the shit out of him, and that concludes Raw. So, you know, overall, as you can probably imagine, a pretty weird Raw, which had a lot of stuff happen to it, more WrestleMania build-up. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything. No, it seems I've covered everything. The matches were alright tonight. They were pretty short, but they served their purpose in a way, which was the build-up to WrestleMania. So overall, I'd say Raw was okay tonight. There were some quite entertaining moments. Snooki is going to be at WrestleMania. Drew Carey is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Some real bullshit moves there by WWE. But there were some decent moments. You had more WrestleMania hype, of course, between Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, John Cena and The Miz, and also you got Sheamus and Daniel Bryan as well, which is a good rivalry, seemingly going into WrestleMania for the US Championship. See Trish Stratus again, even though she lost her match. Overall, I'd say Raw was okay. It was watchable. Way too much promo time again, but this is expected at this time coming into WrestleMania. You've heard my opinions on Raw. What were your opinions on Raw? Please leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget you can catch me on Twitter. My Twitter is Daniel_Parkin, and my Tumblr is Daniel Parkin. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my videos and you want to see more. Also, like the video if you like what I've said. Once again, comment down below. I'm going to make a separate video about some other things. Drew Carey in the WWE Hall of Fame, and this John Morrison match, and Snooki. You'll probably see me vent some real frustration in those videos. But thank you very much for watching my review of Raw, and goodbye.